Boom, shalaka laka boom.
Hi Todd, hi Jay. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hi John, and thanks again also for participating with us. Jay's got our
What's
first
up, John?
Jay's got our first question for you.
So, John, how long have you been a working artist?
I've been working as an artist for about 15 years, starting back in the mid-90s with primarily acrylics on wood panel and acrylic on canvas, layering in pastels, and as I progressed over the years, I've started to use the computer more and more, and I've also started to release a lot of my work as limited edition G-clays, both on fine art paper and on canvas as well.
Interesting, John. So tell us, did you go to school for the arts, and if so, tell us where you went.
Actually, no formal art training at all, just a lot of independent study. My original degrees are actually in engineering, which probably seems a little bit odd for an artist, but when I got out of engineering school, over a fairly short period of time, I became less and less interested in engineering and more interested in creating art.
Well, that sounds great, John. I can see some of your paintings back there, but how would you describe your style?
I would describe my style as primarily representational. Some of the earlier work is more along the abstract lines, but over the past decade, when I am painting, I am trying to depict a particular scene with particular objects within that scene. Having said that, I really try to take a minimalist approach. I only develop the different components of the painting far enough to convey their identity, whether it be a bottle of wine or a guitar.
Interesting. And again, this is one that, I don't know, artists we get a lot, but I'd like to hear from you. What does art mean to you?
As far as what art means to me, it's interesting. I mean, when I hear that question, it makes me think of how I would react if someone said, what does your daughter mean to you, or what does your wife mean to you? It's that kind of personal relationship. I'd say for me, art represents continuity, joy, comfort, escape, challenge, all those things that you might associate with a relationship with a person, I would associate with what I feel about art.
So everybody has different goals.
Yeah.
You have your goals, I got my goals.
Great.
I want to retire in the south of France, have a huge car, huge yacht, 20 girlfriends, whatever. But John, what are some of your goals out there?
I think the main thing I want to accomplish with my art, actually Todd, is something that you speak a lot about, is make people happy with one's art. To keep producing it, to keep sharing it with as many people as possible through vehicles like this, the internet, and just to make sure that people have an opportunity to see your work, because ultimately it's kind of that duality of painting and creating for yourself. But I think if every artist is honest with themselves, they do, to a degree, create work for other people to react to. So in terms of what I want to accomplish, I just want to be able to keep producing my work at a pretty decent pace for a long period of time, to continue to enjoy it, and to make sure I can share it with as many people as possible.
So, John, here's the big, heavy question, but it's a fun one that we like to hear the answer from. Project yourself now, 100 years in the future. How would you like to be remembered?
I think as far as how I'd like to be remembered, I guess there's two ways of looking at that. I would love to think that I could establish myself in such a way that there was some broad recognition of my body of work. But maybe more personally than that, I like the idea of people 100 years from now looking at a piece of my work on the wall, whether that be in their home or in a public space, and having some reaction to that work. In a sense, that's a far more personal way of being, quote-unquote remembered. But to me, it's as important as having your name somewhere in an art textbook or something like that. It's ultimately that personal connection that our art makes with individuals that should matter to us in the long term.
Well, thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, John, it was very nice to meet you. We're very glad to have you here on The Artist Reality, and